Assalamualaikum and hello. My name is Muhammad Alif Azman bin Daud, metric number S54859. In the video assignment ACT 3501, Accounting Information System, I would like to present to Dr. Muhammad Sha'ari bin Abdul Rahman. Let's start with question 1. For question A and B, we use a data flow diagram. Question A is about prepare a contact diagram to document account payable processing at SNS. Contact diagram is a higher level of data flow diagram. It provides a summary level view of a system and show the data processing system, input, output, source and destination. The first, I will draw a circle in the middle. This circle means transformation process. The process that transforms data from input to output, and I will write here is SNS account payable. And then there are 4 processes in SNS account payable. The first one is purchasing. The mean of square here is a data source and destination. The department that sends data to and receives data from system. System is SNS account payable. And purchasing we send to the SNS account payable is purchase order. Before that, the arrow means the data flow, the flow of the data into or out the process. The second one is receiving. Receiving we send the receiving report to SNS account payable to report all the things. And then is vendor. Vendor have two process. The first process, vendor we send invoice to SNS account payable, and then SNS account payable we send payment and remittance advice. The last is management. Management we send account payable report. SNS account payable we send account payable report to management. To report all the thing in system to management. We can say that management is Susan. Susan review the document to ensure that they are valid payable and sign the check. She forward the check to the vendor and return the document and the check copy to the account payable clerk. The clerk file the document alphabetically in a big invoice file. At the end of every month, the account payable clerk use the account payable ledger to prepare an account payable report that is forwarded to Susan. After she is finished with the report, Susan files it chronologically. And then we go to the question B. Question B is prepare a level 0 data flow diagram of S&S account payable. What is level 0 data flow diagram? Level 0 DFD, also known as a contact diagram, is designed to be an abstraction view showing the system as a single process with its relationship to external entity. Some data input and output have been excluded. First of all, I use data source and destination. This is data source and destination. Data source is the entity that produce or send the data into a system. And data destination means the entity that receives data produced by the system. And then I will put data process here, known as a transformation process. Transformation process is the action that transforms data into other data or information. The first is a vendor. Vendor, we send invoice to 1.0 account payable. And this is invoice. And sorry, it should here, and send an invoice to account payable. And then I will put data store here. Data store is not as a place or medium when system data is stored. And then this we call the arrow, we call the data flow that move of data among process, store, source, and destination. And here is a account payable. And then is a vendor invoice. And the second department is the purchase. And third is a reserve. And I will put data transformation process here. And 2.0 collect and store purchase order and receiving report. And I want to draw the arrow which is data flow to here and also receiving to here. Purchasing and receiving we send to the collect and store purchase order and receiving report. And this is a purchase order. And here is a receiving report. And I will put a data store here. And also here. And then I will draw arrow. The arrow is like this, which is collect and store purchase order and receive report. We send here, which is purchase order. Order and purchase order we send to the collect and store purchase. And here is a receiving report. Collect and store purchase order and receiving report we send. It's mean here. Yes. Just one arrow. And then they have 3.0 which is make payment. 3.0 make payment. And vendor invoice we send sorry again. And here is like this, 2 arrow. And receive report we send to the make payment too. And I forgot to data store, put data here, data store here, which is a cash disbursement journal. And make payment we send to the cash disbursement just journal. Make payment we send to the cash disbursement cash disbursement journal. Alright. And 4.0 I will put data process here, data process, and 4.0 which is prepare management reports. And then account payable we send to the prepare management report to report all the thing. And this is the management. And the start store is here, and internal interactor, this is a window, the last process, and here is a pay invoice. And prepare management report we send to account payable report to management. Account payable reports. Sorry, 000 make payment and then send to the pay invoice and then send to vendor to the last process. Sorry. Yes. And here is a payment and remittance advice. Here. Oh. Payment and remittance advice should be here. Make payment, we send payment and remittance advice to vendor. And that's all for the question B. For the first vendor, we send invoice to account payable and we send account payable here, vendor invoice and make payment. Account payable we make payment and account payable also prepare management report and then send to management. For the purchasing, purchase order, collect and stock purchase order and receiving report, send to purchase order here, receiving report, and then make payment and make payment to cash disbursement journal, and then make payment we send to vendor and pay invoice. That's all I already include. And we go to the question C. And for the last question, we use a cross-functional flowchart. So the last question C is prepare a document flowchart to document account payable processing at SNS. Um, what is a document flowchart? So document flowchart is illustrate the flow of document and data among area of responsibility within an organization. Flowchart symbol have four categories. They are input or output symbol, processing symbol, storage symbol, and the last one is flow and miscellaneous symbol. I will draw all the thing and write, and after finish I will explain all the thing. Hmm. So I am done to draw and write all the things needed, and then I will explain all the things. In the previous question, we know that account payable had three departments that involved in SNS account payable, which is account payable department, Aston Fleming as a manager, controller department, and Susan as a owner or manager department. From the case given, firstly we start with account payable first. From the case given, purchasing department, receiving department, and vendor department will send the document separate alphabetically to SNS account payable. In the account payable column, in this we start with start or end symbol. This one is a start or end symbol in the basic flow chart sheet. This one and and uh, and also this sheet is called as a terminal, which is represent as the beginning and or point of iteration in a process and also used to indicate an eternal party. As mentioned before, this department sends the document separately, which is using the document symbol in the same shape option. From purchasing, it sends a purchase order. From receiving, it sends a receiving report. And from vendor, it sends a vendor invoice. Between the symbol here, we are using the document or processing flow that represent the direction of processing or document flow. Basically, it's just done and to the right flow. The purchase order stored in a purchase order file and the receiving report stored in a receiving report file separate. So these two files were using inverted triangle. This one that named as the symbol is called as a paper document file, which mean sorry which mean this is a paper document file, which mean that the letter indicate file ordering sequence. This file is named A to indicate this file is arranged alphabetically. Before that, this is wrong. Actually, this is A, and then this is B. Sorry for my correction. And we continue. In this case, vendor invoice are received. The account payable click was recorded in account payable, so then this shade as a record account payable. Then the click file the invoice in the vendor invoice file. So use the document symbol and then paper document file. All this file or this file store will match. So use manual operation symbol and then ES match or purchase order receiving report and invoice. After that, the account payable click was forward 3 documents to the Aston Fleming. So 3 documents represented in document together then forward to the circle shape named as A. This symbol mean of page connector that is connect to the processing flow on the same page to avoid crisscrossing a page. This one. And then we explain about control this column. This column show an account payable click is forward. This one is forward to here to the command to the Aston that is also called as a controller. Aston then review the document and prepare a two-part check and forward to Susan that is represented in a round shape named as a B. Aston also record the check in the cash disbursement journal that is represented in the symbol which called as a journal or ledger that is meaning paper-based account journal and ledger. This one, this sheet. And then Aston Fleming forward the file to Susan to review all the documents to ensure they are valid payable and sign the check. Susan forward the check to the vendor in the right here. Susan check sent to the vendor, and while the downflow in the left side means Susan returned the document and the check copy or check to the account payable clerk. Then the connector to the account payable department was named as a C. The clerk then filed the document alphabetically in paid invoice file. This flow means after account payable click record the account payable, they prepare an account payable report This one, using account payable ledger. They prepare at the end every month and forward back to the account payable report document to the Suzanne. Doing from the connector D, after account payable department, forward the account payable report and finish to forward to the account payable report to Suzanne. Suzanne review the account payable report and finish it with file it chronologically. So this is a final look of this question sheet of document flow chart, and that's all from me. Thank you for watching.